Hi my amazing planner friends, it's Jess from My Magical Planner, and I have a very small haul here from Goldspot Pens that I wanted to share with you. Let's just kind of get into this and I'll show you these two items first. So I did get some more swatch cards. I had said that I wanted to get a few different types and see which ones I liked best. So this is the last of that. So I have the Ferris Wheel Press book that they make, which is what this is. I don't know what type of paper this is. I have to do a little research before I do that video, but it does kind of roll, have that spinning quality. And then here we have an ink bottle stamped on. It says Ferris Wheel Press, and kind of one of their bottles there, and that's how this Swatchbook works. It's a really interesting concept. I'm not sure if I'm going to like that or not. And then the other one I got was from Colorverse. I had gotten another version of this, but essentially this one is just the, well, hold on. I'll pull one out to show you. They're a stamped on ink card, like ink bottle, and then you can write next to it, which is kind of nice. And so I wanted to give these a shot. I do have some other Colorverse cards, but they are art cards that I've gotten previously that have like Hubble images and stuff on them. So I wanted to kind of compare and contrast the two. So I have those for a future video. And then I have these two items. So we'll do this one first. So I had last month inked up my sample of Aurorealis, I think that's how you say it, from Ferris Wheel Press, which was their ink of the year. And decided that I liked it enough that that was a limited edition ink I wanted to have a bottle of. So this is my first ever bottle of Ferris Wheel Press ink, because all my other ones are just samples. I tend to do mostly samples, although there are a couple, sorry guys. There are a couple of inks that I want to get as bottles because I do like them so much, I'm discovering. So, and this is one of them. Let's go ahead and open this up, and I will show you the bottle. I love the detail that they do on the stories they have to go with their inks. I can open it. As well as their boxes, and the artwork that they use is just amazing. Sorry, it's gotta be me. Oh, there we go. So there's that. It's actually smaller than I thought it would be. But here is the bottle of ink itself. It's really pretty. It makes me think of a really nice perfume bottle, honestly. I'm curious to know how big the opening is here. Because that was the one thing that I heard from some of these, is that some of the it seems plenty big. But depending on the pen that you use, it can be challenging to get your pen in there to fill it. And if you missed me swatching this ink, let me pull that out so you can see what this ink looks like. Oh, right there. So it's a very deep purple ink with a kind of pink shimmer to it. And it really came out in my writing last month. I enjoyed it. I had it in a Benu pen, I believe, with a medium nib, and that seemed to work really well. So, because I think I put it in French poetry. So, I'm not going to go swatch this again because I have already swatched it, but I do now officially have a very beautiful bottle of ink. So, we'll set that off to the side. And then I also got this. So, they don't do a lot of samples from Goldspot pens, but you can get like a random 3 ink sample pack from them. And so I decided to go ahead and do that, and that's what this is. So we'll see what we have. It's obviously a yellow ink, a purple ink, and what appears to be like a teal or green ink. So I may have to do a little bit of research to narrow down the exact inks, because I think this is labeled the way their samples were labeled. I think they updated that because it was updated in their mystery dip box, which I got. I'll link that above for you guys. But on here it just says the name Shinranoku. Rhino. I'm not sure, but it's definitely a green ink, like a greenish tealish ink. So we'll have to swatch that one. And then we have Tender Purple. The thing that I don't like is that they didn't include the name brand, and this one is called Sunny Yellow. So I will do a little research to make sure I know what brands these are for you guys, and we will swatch them out. So I will do that and get my swatching stuff and be back in a minute. All right, I'm back and ready to do my swatches in my little swatch book. This is just a notebook from Hobonichi that has just some Tomoe River paper in it, because I mainly write on Tomoe River paper when I'm using my fountain pens, so it gives me a good representation. I do slip just a piece of paper in between this and the next sheet because these are rather thin, and when you do swatching and you have pooling of ink, you tend to get some bleed through, and I want to protect that page on the other side. I only do my swatching on one side of the paper to help with that contamination issue. And then what I do for my swatching is I take a pipette, I'll add just a dot of ink down here, and we'll use a plastic bag to spread it out. And then I have a Pilot dip pen here to write in the ink name and do a couple of strokes and that kind of thing to give me an idea of how it will write. So I think we should go from lightest to darkest, and I think the lightest is definitely going to be the yellow ink, which was called Sunny Yellow. I was able to put this number in, and it brought up a ink for me, which was Platinum Mixable Sunny Yellow. So it's a mixable ink. I don't know much about mixable inks, but it is supposed to be something you can mix with other things. I did find it interesting that it mentions that you should use the like there's a special cleaning agent that maybe goes with this particular brand of ink, and the mixable qualities, like you can get a whole pack of them to make your own colors and stuff. But hopefully that won't be an issue for this. It doesn't have any glitter or anything like that in it. It's just a solid yellow color. So let's see how it looks. Actually, almost looks brown there on the paper. We'll have to see when I lift up the bag, but it almost looks like a mustard yellow color. Interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about it, to be honest. I don't think this is a color I would use, but I don't know. Maybe I will change my mind, or maybe I'll use it in conjunction with another ink or something. I'm going to go with kind of a mustardy yellow. It has a little bit of a greenish tone to it as well. But I should probably take off the guard for my pen. And let's see how this one writes. I do really enjoy using this dip pen. So we're going to say... I'm going to put the mixable in here. And I did add this to the label as well. Sunny. So I would have thought Sunny Yellow would have been a little bit more bright yellow. So I'm a little surprised by this. maybe more of that. And I'll do a little square down here. So this yellow looks different than that yellow. I wonder why that is. Intriguing. Oh, one more dip. So some lines here. I don't know, what do you guys think? Would you think of that as sunny yellow? We'll do close-ups at the end when it's dried, but as it's drying, it's definitely getting a lot more like muddied colored. So that's interesting to me. All right, green or purple next? Because I feel like they're both equally dark, but let's do green. So, oh, before I do that part. So at this one, I did put in the number. It did not come up. Or no, maybe I just put in the name because it was so unique. And I was pretty sure it was a Pilot ink because of that. The other one I'd put in the number and nothing came up. But this is Pilot, however you say that. It's supposed to be a forest green. And their inks are always really nice. So I'm kind of excited to see how that plays out here. You know, maybe we do the dip portion first and I write in everything, because one of the problems is when I do the swatches on this side, that when I write, I tend to have problems because the ink is over there. So let's try writing first and see how that goes. So I'm gonna cap it because I'm gonna have to refer to the label here. So I'm going to put Pilot, Shin Ryoku, just forest green. And then we just need to do our box and our lines. Box right here. It is a very nice green. It does cling to the tip a little bit. I think I had one other color that kind of did that recently. And it was the first time I'd ever had that happen. So it took me by surprise. So there. And now for the swatch. I want you to go this direction. I did get a rather large dollop there. It kind of makes me think of like a blue spruces color. It's not quite what I would think of as forest green either, but maybe as it dries it'll darken up a little bit. We'll see. And then wipe things off. And our last color is the tender purple, which, like I said, when I put this in, nothing came up. But when I put the name in, Waterman came up, and I didn't see any other inks by that name, so I'm going with it's a Waterman ink. I think I've only ever gotten Waterman inks from Goldspot pens. I could be wrong. So, all right, I'm gonna do what I did here, where I did the writing first. That seemed to work pretty well. This one clings here pretty well too, but we have Waterman. It's a nice purple. Tender purple. do some strokes here. This one actually writes, I think, a little smoother than those other inks. Some inks just do, like there's a smoothness to them, and this one seems to have that. Usually the Pilot ones do too. I think they're lubricated is what I've heard. Drop of the purple. And there's that purple. So I am seeing a little bit of like a red sheen with the Pilot green ink, which is interesting. The other thing that I will note, and I saw this with the inks that came in my dip as well, that the inks inside the vials are at different levels. It isn't really uniform, which is fine. As long as you get a minimum of 2 milliliters, I feel like. That is not the case with the Pilot ink. I will insert a picture here so you can see what I'm talking about, but it's probably somewhere between 1.5 and 1 3/4 of a mil, opposed to the 2 mil you got in the other two. So just as a for your information type deal. I don't think this was very expensive, but I will put the price of the 3 ink combo down below in case you guys want to see that. And I will be back in just a little bit to see how these dry. All right, this is actually about a day later, so everything is completely dried. So sunny yellow does not look sunny to me. It's kind of this greenish brownish yellow. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I was expecting something bright, and yeah. Let me know what you guys think. Is this what you think when you think sunny yellow? Did it get mixed with something? Like, I don't know. Is that, if somebody else has this color, is this how it looks? Did I mix something up? Like, look at how dark that is there. I'm confused. But anyhow, then we have the Pilot forest green color, which is more of like a teal type color to me. I do like the red sheening. I like the color. It's just not what I would have thought of for like a forest green color, because I would have thought more like this deeper green type color for the base. But it's a really nice color, and it's going to come across as green even in a fine tipped pen, which some of the darker greens is a little harder. So there is that to say about it, and it is a really nice ink. Then we have the Watermelon Tender Purple. There is a little bit of sheening here on the edges, but nothing significant really. It's a nice base purple. I have other nice base purples, so it's nothing spectacular to me. I kind of like the Esterbrook Shimmering Lilac a little better, honestly, as far as a overall color. So I don't know. None of these blew me away, but they were surprise inks, and I like surprise inks, so it's all good. And they're only a sample, so if I don't like them, they're a sample. So anyhow, that's all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and until next time, I'll see you real soon.